The red button. Hey, thanks for joining us this evening. My name is Annette Lartigue, and I am your host here at COACHINGU4U. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'd like to ask that you see us on Facebook, see us on YouTube. We're on two places on Facebook. We're in Apple, on Apple Podcasts as well. So see us everywhere. We're everywhere. We're everywhere you want to be. Where there are podcasts. Just look up Coaching You For You. On YouTube, please put all our business in the streets.
Yeah.
Share it. Hit the bell. Ring the bell. Hit the subscribe and like us. We appreciate that. We appreciate you and we appreciate your time. We're on a countdown here tonight. We're finishing up the third of three series. And I have with me tonight Tona.
Hello.
Tona and Paula both are on live. However, Paula is not able to be on camera tonight, but she is here. Say hello, Paula. Paula,
Maybe she'll come back.
you're on mute.
Good evening, everyone.
That's Paula. She's
Hi,
here.
Paula.
And of course, Tona, our famous author
Oh, thank you.
and community activist. So
Thank
thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I want to shout out Ula Bala.
Ooh,
I see that he has something up and coming down by Marazzo's where I shop.
okay.
I live in West Trenton, and where I shop in Marazzo's, I see there's a new sign there for Ulabala. So,
What? Yes.
hey, Ulabala, yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
A
Congratulations.
second, a second, a second restaurant, and a
Oh,
second restaurant where there's parking.
yes. Hallelujah.
And that's going to make a
Wonderful.
huge, huge difference for
Awesome.
many of us.
Congratulations.
I also want to shout out
Yes.
the
Congratulations.
Ingram Kingdom Kitchen, the Ingram Kingdom Mobile Kitchen, Jasna and Derek Ingram. I'd like to shout out Sister Seafood Seasonings, Amaris, Lenore, and Jasna Mercedes. Keep doing what you're doing, ladies. Elisa's Catering, getting
Girl,
it
yes.
done.
Yes.
ABC Catering, Cindy, Beverly, and Adrian, Dad's Delights. And we also have Sakina Iman up on Broad Street at the Food Bar and Grill. Keep doing it, Sakina. She drives me crazy with so many different things and so many different flavors. And so I
Yes.
want to shout her out. I want to shout out Art and Soul up on Parkway Avenue, my sorority sister. Keep doing what you're doing. Art and Soul is actually touching the souls of many.
Yes.
I'd like to shout out Eric Mayer and his bookstore downtown. Do what you do. It makes a difference.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight, Tona,
Yes.
Paula, and I are going to be discussing some of the things that we did to heal from the inner child and the childhood trauma. And I want to repeat again that all of us have an inner child. And at some point, that child has experienced something that might need a little bit of healing and feeling. Your inner child is the unconscious part of you that your childhood experienced. And so I want you to know that your inner child is visible,
Yes.
whether you accept it or not, whether you reject the idea that you have the fact, not the idea, the fact that you have an inner child. None of that matters. What matters is I want you to know we can see that child. And if you look within, you'll see them as well. Okay, Tona, say
Yes.
good evening.
Hello, my name is Tona Buck, and I'm a sexual abuse survivor and an advocate. Good evening. I'm
Mm.
excited about this and that.
You're not
More
just an
people
advocate, you're also a what?
survivor.
Author?
Oh,
You
oh,
s-
that's a, oh. So I am. So let me tell you who I am. Not just playing. So I am an author. You can find my books on tonabook.com. Um, I am a motivational speaker. I'm a radio personality, and I have my own podcast, Tona's Table, that comes on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. Apple podcast, and I always do Facebook Live. And let me always have to give my shout out to my radio station, WIMG, 5 times Stellar Award winning station.
Yes.
I love that's my family.
Yes. Hey, Paula.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, everyone. So I'm a mother of four and a daughter, uh, um, and a lot of other things.
A survivor of
A friend,
childhood trauma.
survivor. That's right, and a survivor of childhood trauma. And I'm grateful to be here. Yep.
I'm grateful to have you here tonight. One of the things, I'm Annette Lartigue, and I'm a survivor of childhood trauma. And I'm grateful for to be here tonight. And the message I want to send tonight is that there is opportunity and hope for everybody to recover from whatever childhood hurts that hurt you. You just have to be willing and open to the opportunity. So I have been willing and open, and I have to shout out Nabila Ishmael, my mentor and longtime friend.
Love
We have talked often about many things, and as recently as last night when I said, I don't think there's a cure for this. And so, not childhood trauma, but some other things.
you.
And she just laughed at me and said, there's always a cure.
Mhm.
So, welcome aboard, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear your baby in the background, Tona.
I
As I
know.
told you,
But he's
he
not
was
knocking
going to
now.
be he was going to be locked out, but he would make his presence known.
Listen, here's stop. I was just telling Annette. I just had my podcast at 6 o'clock with Aubrey Walker about the cancer walk, that an amazing organization, Healing Stream. And I was saying that he was so good. Like it's a hit and miss with him. Like he'll calm down now. Somebody like 2 blocks away probably walked across the street, and he just needed to let them know that you better not come near my mom. So I think it's all right now. But if he was in here, it's always a hit and miss. People follow him on TikTok, Prince Jr. He's a lot.
How big is he, Tona?
He's 13 pounds and he thinks he's about 150 pounds. He has a lot of personality, and I don't know what I would have done without him this season of my life. For real.
I understand. I absolutely understand.
That was part of my healing too. But go ahead.
So we're going to talk tonight about some of the things that helped us heal. And I really think that's important. We have about 20 minutes, and I just want to get into the piece of this that helped us heal. There are many people who don't understand or believe that they have an inner child that they need to deal with from trauma or feelings that have been unresolved. And again, the inner child is simply the unconscious part of your childhood where you experienced things that were not always comfortable. And so, Paula, I'm going to start with you because I know you're going to have to jump off eventually. So I want to start with you. And I'd like you to share some of the things. And Tony, you can mute while we do
Yeah, I'm
this.
trying to find a mute right now because you're gonna cut up.
Uh, Share some of the things that work for you in terms of your healing process.
So for me, some of them I welcomed, and some of them were very difficult for me to admit to and to submit to. One of them was therapy. It's been a long time, it wasn't something that was encouraged. It isn't sometimes encouraged through
Right.
African Americans, I'll say. And
Right.
but it was something I was used to because I was also divorced. So it was a suggestion by some mentors that I had in my life. And also
Okay.
Al-Anon was something that I attend. I have a sponsor, and being and having friends around me that I was able to be vulnerable with and be honest and open, who didn't
Yeah.
necessarily get angry when I kept repeating the things that have happened to me. They were very kind and gracious to me to allow the time that I needed, and the support and encouragement. So it was therapy for me. It was Al-Anon. It was people that in my squad that were willing to, listen to me, and shoulders, to cry on, and that helped a lot to be able to talk about it.
And that absolutely makes a difference. And you said something that I think is very important. And I just posted this in a meme because I shared it from somebody. And it may have been you, Paula. If you want to find your real squad, look
That's
around
right.
you
It
when
was
you're
me.
having difficult times because
Absolutely.
it's those people who are around you and support you and love you and hug you and accept you right where you are during difficult times. That's your squad. Let's talk about your squad a little bit, Paula.
So it has my squad hasn't been it hasn't been actually, as I've grown older, my squad has changed. As I've
As it
started to
will.
get better, my squad, and I don't need the same people. And
Right.
as started to elevate, some people, they were in different seasons of their life. Life showed up for them, so they weren't able to be there for me. So I have
Right.
a lot of different people with different levels of education and to no education that are in my squad, but are there for me honestly, and sincerely and genuinely, and I can depend on them. And they've been
And that,
school teachers to people like you who have given me an
thank you.
opportunity, and like you said last week, saw the light, and to ministers,
Yes,
to
Lord.
just a whole plethora of people who, even some of them were clients that are very encouraging and kind. And
Yes,
so it's no particular education level, or not a certain it's just those people that you're saying that are people I can trust, you know
absolutely. And the trust is important, and the squad is important. And so that meme said exactly look around you when you're during difficult times, I think that's your squad. The people who are there, that's your squad.
that's right.
And remember that
Yeah.
because sometimes during difficult times, people leave you. They leave you when they
Yeah.
disagree. They leave you when they don't understand. They leave you when they think they've heard this pain all too often. They leave. So identifying
Mhm.
your squad, this is for our audience. Identifying your squad makes the difference. Knowing who your squad is. A lot of times we get caught up in people, places, and things that are not absolutely in
Mhm.
our best interests. And those people, places, and things cause more harm than good. If
Absolutely.
people don't see you, if you're invisible, if they don't hear you, you're always the one being supportive, providing opportunities,
Mhm.
providing hope. That's not your squad. Because
That's
at
right.
some point, and this is a real message, your squad, the people that you love and care for, provide for, hope for, dream with, play with, eat with, they have to be reciprocal. And I don't care if it's family, friends, or foe. To some degree, there must be some measure of reciprocity. And that's where, the same way, Paula, you give your experience, strength, and hope, that they give a little bit of theirs too. And I think that I heard that in you sharing that your clients often offered that to you.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
know
So don't
your
narrow
squad.
mind. Absolutely. Don't be narrow minded. Be open minded,
Yes.
because you never know where your help come from in a different season.
Oh, Lord. You hit that on the head too. You never know where your help is going to come from. And I'll tell you this, and thank you for sharing that. The people I thought would be with me weren't. The ones that I thought wouldn't be were. And then there were
Yeah,
some surprises in it
that's it.
because part of my trauma came from people who were well known and respected in the community. And I will never name them. The the repair and the reparations have been made with respect to that trauma. But I just want you to know that sometimes the trauma comes directly in our home. Sometimes it comes from family and friends. But usually the people who traumatize us the most are the people we know and trust. Come on, Tona.
I hope I listen. This is the most this little one did in a minute. I muted wrong, and I was like, oh, all I got to do is push this mute. So I hope y'all still hear him cutting up. But anyway, 3 points when I think about healing from trauma that helped me. One was to identify the trauma. So this is the issue. Let me tell you the three. Then I briefly talk about all three. One is identifying the trauma. Another one is having coping mechanisms in place. And the third one is forgiveness. So let's go from the first one. Let's go from the first one. So I started being sexual abused when I was 3 years old. So I had a whole heap of people, a whole plethora of people to forgive. Those who didn't see the signs, those who didn't ask the right questions, the doctors who examined me and my vagina was bruised and they thought I had a kidney infection, or the teachers who for me acting out, for me having two dolls humping each other, and a family member seeing me, nobody questioned it. Like I had 100 million signs of being sexually victimized as a kid, and no one saw it. So I had to identify my trauma first. That's important because I've met so many people who's like, oh, my dad would just beat me down with a extension cord. That's not normal. So if you think that that's normal, you can really heal that in the child, even though you still showing residue from the act, right? If, like I was saying last week, when the girl was raped by her mother's husband and had a whole child at 13 years old, and she didn't realize she was raped until I told her, because that was normal. Nobody said, her mom didn't say anything. Nobody said anything to her. He raped you. You didn't give consent, and now you have a child by him. So the first thing, you have to identify the trauma and what that child experienced. That's number one, and be okay with it. Be okay to say that's not normal. What that man was doing to me was not normal. I didn't know till I was older, but once I got it, I started the healing process. So in my book, that second, I wrote a chapter on having I don't know what y'all believe in, but I believe in God. But so I had an encounter, and I remember I was in my early 20s, and I heard a voice, whatever y'all don't believe, but I heard a voice ask me, would I forgive all those that victimized me or overlooked or wasn't there for me as a child? And I was like, no. And not only was something inside of me asking me, would I forgive everybody who dropped the ball technically with the little girl, but the person who victimized me. And I was like, no, I sure enough won't. And so it took a couple of years, and I remember just hearing that question, will you forgive them? And I was like, no. And it took me a while to realize, it took me a long while to realize that the forgiveness wasn't about them. I'm gonna say that one more time for someone right now who have justified, listen, everything, and the reason why you hate that person, the reason why you don't like that person, you hate what they did, you are right to do it. Because if somebody afflicted trauma on you, you have the right to be angry at them. You have the right to be hurt. You have that right. Don't let nobody take that right from you and say that you're not supposed to feel something because somebody did something wrong to you. You own that right. But then I need for you to say, well, would I continue to allow them to have power over me? I'm going to say that again, because we are angry and bitter, and all these wonderful roses that's supposed to be blooming in our lives are being smothered by weeds, and the weeds are the people who victimized us. So can I forgive them? Not for them. They don't deserve it. Trust me. You don't even got to tell them you forgave them. Some people don't even, they don't even have any type of I don't want to say power.
Remorse.
They wouldn't even care anyway, but you don't owe them that. That's what you don't owe them that. You don't owe them to come to them and say, I forgive you. They're not worth it, because the forgiveness is not for them. The forgiveness is for you. What I had to do for me is to forgive that man who tortured me all those years when I was a kid. Not for him, but for me. I was going to take my life back, and he wasn't going to have any more power in me. And then, like, for years, I've taught trauma and recovery. I listen. I was consulting at Yale University. I worked at some of the biggest mental health university institutions in Connecticut. I was blessed to be in that arena, and so I got to teach trauma and recovery. And in trauma and recovery, it's very important to have coping mechanisms. It's very important to find coping mechanisms to help you, because once you realize that you were a victim of trauma, it's like a can of worms, right? And you have to put that lid back on. And the way you do that is having coping mechanisms. And so in some of my classes, I like to take, because I like to have open dialogue so I can get other people input. But one that helped me when I was dealing with the healing from being sexually victimized, I'm a gospel music person. I love listening to gospel music. And so I was a gospel music person, and I journaled, right? That's very important. Like when you realize that inner child has been victimized, writing it down and writing how you feel is very therapeutic. Trust me. But long story short, my other trauma came when I was older, a few years ago, and I got hit by a car like an animal left on the street to die. And I still don't know who hit me to this day. That was a different type of trauma. That coping mechanism didn't work for that trauma. And so that depression was a different type of depression from my childhood depression. So what I learned to do is, when I go, because you always going to have triggers. That's what trauma brings. That's why you are totally healed when you leave this earth, because triggers are going to come. But just have coping mechanisms in place when you have them, and it get easier, right? So as I was sitting home depressed as ever, I probably can write a book on depression after I got hit by that car. I would be in the bed, just out of it. But one thing that I learned, if I didn't eat and if I didn't sleep, I had to use the bathroom. So I started putting affirmations around the bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
So many affirmations. You probably see my face that big. It would be, by his stripes I am healed, because I'm still not here to this day, but I'm still believing in it. It would say, I love me. I forgive me. I forgive him. So every time I'm destined for greatness, I had to keep speaking life into myself. And that's the thing by having a circle of friends, like Paula said. People come in your life for reasons, seasons, and some for some for a lifetime, right? And so don't get discouraged about those who may have only been in your life for a season, and that's okay. You still love whatever they did and whatever they brought for you, good, bad, and the ugly. They came in your life for reasons, for seasons.
Yes.
So I had to learn that hurt it. That's a part of growing. But what was more important to me is that in one of my books, I said, you're either gonna love me, you're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna sleep well every night.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that. You're either gonna love me or you're gonna hate me, because I know I have a big personality, not on purpose. That's a part of my survival. I earned that. That's how, when you're a friend of mine, you have to understand, when I say things like I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm amazing. I could be in front of 2,000 people and I start my presentation off saying I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm wonderful, and you can hear a pin drop. But then I say, but so are you. Because somebody has taken away their power to think good about themselves. I done been too much not to think good about myself, and you're not going to make me in my life because you have an issue about all I've been through to get to where I'm at. How about you won't? How about you won't? And that's
Come on, girl. Come on.
That's what everybody needs to think who had trauma. Every inner child heals when you take your power back and you can say good things about yourself. I know they called you bad. I know they said you wouldn't make it. I know they said you wasn't nothing. They were a liar. They spoke death in you. And right now you need to start learning how to speak life in yourself. You need to say, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm destined for greatness. It don't matter what they said about you. They don't have any power over you. And you got to the end of your life to prove them wrong. And don't do it to prove them wrong technically, but it's always good to show them that they're wrong. You do it because it's you, and it's your life. And they thought they stopped you. They thought they stopped me, Annette. They thought they stopped me. They called me mean, and my family would call me nasty because I had such a nasty attitude. But nobody didn't ask, why was this girl so mean? Why was this girl out here fighting all the time? Why was she so angry? Nobody took the second to say to me, Tona, what happened to you? I wasn't born that way. I was created that way. And now I'm back to who I am. I had to take my life back. And you can take your life back too. Healing is possible. And one of the greatest things, again, and I know y'all are saying, I don't want to hear her, because I didn't want to hear anybody when I was hating all those people who didn't do me right. Forgiveness is the number one key that I can give you. Not for them. Not for them. But for you. Let them go. Let them go. You
Okay.
lose not one more sleepless night over something that somebody try to break you down from. Somebody try to destroy your life, destroy your spirit, destroy your soul. Are you serious? Don't give them no more power. I'm sorry, Nate. I said three things.
But you said a lot, and I want to thank you. And so tonight, the reason we came here is to talk about some of the things that you need to be cognizant of when you're trying to heal that inner child. And we all have them, whether we accept them, reject them, or ignore them. We
Exactly.
all have them. And they are the unconscious part of what we experienced as children that is unresolved. And Tona, I want to thank you, and Paula, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Paula talked
Thank
about your
you.
squad. Your squad. Know your squad. Find your squad.
Right.
Find the people who are going to be there when you're going through the things that you're going through. Because, see, we see your inner child. You might not recognize them, but we see them in your grandiose behavior. We see them in your unwillingness to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
We see them in your difficult behavior. We see them in your inability to get along with others.
Mm-hmm.
And it is
Yes.
important. I am grateful. I was blessed because my mother and father listened. My mother said I could always come to her.
Mm,
That's a
I
blessing.
went to her and I told her. And when I tell you they dealt with
That's
every
a blessing.
single one of them, they dealt with them. And I stuck my chest out like,
Yes.
my mother and father are going to protect me.
Blessing.
And so I want to tell you that's not always the case with everybody. When people don't protect you, protect yourself. Tell somebody, tell the guidance counselor, tell the teacher, tell whoever you need to
that's
tell.
right.
It is better to tell than to live in that hell.
Yes.
Tell, tell
That's right.
somebody you are suffering. Encourage your children to do the same.
Yes.
Children are typically
Yes.
molested, raped, and taken advantage of by
50%
people they know
in trust. 90%.
and trust. That's a 90%
That's right.
number. I want you to hear us. I want you to know that we don't know everything. This is simply our experience, strength, and hope. And
Yes.
the hope in
Yes.
this is that you'll find your squad. The hope, as Tona said, is that you'll find the forgiveness in them. Because I'm telling you, I've had to forgive so many people for so
Yes.
many things at so many different times.
Yes.
And I didn't forgive them for them. I forgave them for me because
Yes.
I wanted to live free. I wanted to live free of the trauma. I wanted to live free of the narcissist. I wanted to live
Mm.
free of the fake friends. I
Mm.
wanted to live free. And so I forgave them. I hold no grudges. There's no room in my space for grudges. I want to thank you for being here with us
Thank
tonight. I want
you.
to thank Paula. I want to thank Tona. I
Yeah.
want to ask you
Thank
again to put all of our business in the street,
All of it.
coaching you for you. Put it all in the street. This is one time when we want you to tell everybody the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. I choose God.
that's
Yes.
I choose God. So help you God. If you choose something else, what doesn't apply, let it fly. I respect it,
right.
but I choose God. Tell somebody, talk to somebody. See us on Facebook at COACHINGU4U. See us on Facebook at What Trenton Really Makes. And see us on YouTube and Apple and wherever podcasts are because we have something to tell you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank
The
you.
last thing I want to say to you is that there's opportunity and hope for you no matter what you've gone through. Tona is a witness. Paula is a witness. I am a witness. There is healing
Right.
available for those who are open to the opportunity. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Tona.
Thank you,
Thank
Annette.
you.
They'll be back again
Thank
at
you.
some point in time to share experience, strength, and hope. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. Hit the like, subscribe, and the bell on
Good
YouTube.
timing. Yes.
Put our business in the street. We've got something to tell you. Coaching you for you. Your host here, Annette Lartigue, and my phenomenal guest, Tona, Buck, and Paula.
Thank you for having me. I love
Thank
you.
you for being here. Good night, and
I
I'll
love
see you
you.
all again soon.
Bye,
I
Paula.
love you too. I
Bye.
appreciate your experience, strength, and hope. Have a good
Thank you.
night.
You too.
Thank you.